uh, 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 welcome to the show.
Oh, hey, it's me, Coach Pat. I coach high school football. You can watch my show, Believe in the Broncos with Bree Maces on the Believe Network.
What the fuck is this? Identity theft is not a joke, Jimmy. This is fucked up, what you're doing right now. This is really
Mario!
Mario. Jesus Christ. He's letting us down. Welcome to the Coach Pat Show. Today's episode, we're going to talk about the power run game and why it's.
Hey, Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up.
Gosh, your own little internet shows are driving me crazy.
What the
God, this internet show is driving me crazy.
I felt like I did.
I like how Pat was talking shit to Joey beforehand about not knowing his lines, and then Pat didn't know his lines.
I said my line. I said my one line.
I had a big part in that show. I had a big part.
I said my.
That was our feeble attempt at an Office homage, but that's okay.
Still not as
we had
good
something
as
better planned, but Joey ruined it.
I think I ruined it.
Excuse me.
Who doesn't know I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys? But I digress.
Joey.
We're just gonna put that in our pocket and save it for later.
I know the song. I know the chorus. Excuse me. Wasn't born in like the 70s. My bad. Here we go. Oh no.
What's up, everybody? Mario Vitanzi with Patrick Chiotti. We're joined by Joey Richards, and I know, Pat, I know this is kind of like a little bit of a surprise to you. Here's why I brought Joey in. Now, obviously, your we'll call it criticism of one Luke Wattenberg has been well documented on this show, to the point where we were doing like a weekly Watten watch to see what we thought of Luke Wattenberg. Was he improving? Because again, like this whole offensive line, every other position is pretty much spoken for. It's solid. It's good. Wattenberg was kind of like the one weak link in this chain. So we're going to take this a step further. Pat, I'm going to let you speak your case about Wattenberg, what he needs to do better, maybe what Alex Forsythe did better than him. And I brought Joey on as our resident Luke Wattenberg enthusiast to discuss Wattenberg Watch 2025. So, Pat, Coach Pat, specifically, we will start with you. What did you see out of Luke Wattenberg? And granted, it's a small sample size. What did you see out of him that you liked? What did you didn't like? Talk us through the Luke Wattenberg situation as it stands here on the 12th day of August in the year of our Lord 2025.
Yeah, well, still looking at the tape, seeing where we can improve. When you look at the tape of a Luke Wattenberg, no, that was my Sean Payton impression. I think one thing I was pleasantly surprised with, and I was late on the tape game because NFL Pro has yet to figure out how the fuck to make it easier for us to watch preseason film. I don't know why that's so fucking hard.
It's been like 10 years. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's so annoying. Like, figure it out. Anyways, I checked the PFF grades the day after the game. Not that I agree with PFF's grading scale, but it's another tool for us to use to go back and look at the film and be like, okay, how did they come up with this grade? And I was pleasantly surprised by Luke Wattenberg's run blocking grade. I think it was in the mid 70s, which, small sample size, whatever. But I think he was like the fourth best offensive line run block grade on the team. And that's a pleasant surprise for me because he was arguably one of the worst run blockers on the team last year. Again, still going through some tape stuff, but didn't allow pressure in pass situations, which is great. I've been saying since last year, like, Wattenberg, not great in the run game, decent in the pass game. Forsythe, better in the run game, not as good in the pass game. I love the fact that we're going to this wide zone, wide zone look. It's great for someone like RJ Harvey because they can get to the edge very quickly. But what that means is that, your center and your guards are going to have to really communicate and work hard on blocks and getting to the second level. And that was something that Luke Wattenberg just wasn't very good at last year. Whiffed on a lot of blocks, overshot his angles quite a bit. So, again, still going back through film, and I'm going to look specifically at run stuff tonight. But if the grades reflect the film, I would say it's nice that he's getting better in those areas. Forsythe had some really good reps. The duo rep that they had where he took a full gallop step and just blew out the hip of this guy. That's what you want to see. And I think Zach Streif is doing a good job. And, Wattenberg's going in the final year of his contract. So this is make or break year for him. If he's going to be the long-term center for the Broncos, he's going to have to show this year that he is that guy. So, small sample size, like you said, would like to see some higher grades there. If you only get 19 snaps, you better be at, a 99.9 on those 19 snaps. Right? That's the expectation. That's the goal. So 76, 77 run block grade. Now I'll take it. But again, I want to take a deeper dive at the film and really see what he did well, what he didn't do well, in that game, and then going forward.
Yeah,
I give you a lot to work with, Joey.
I think you're good, Bet. I think a lot of what Pat said is true in a lot of facets. I just, my whole thing is, I don't like, Pat, you brought up the point about, hey, if he's going to be a long-term center, this is what he has to do, and this is what he has to do. I mean, I don't think even Luke Wattenberg has to be the long-term center for this to be successful. You can't pay 5 offensive linemen on your team. There are salary cap restrictions. You are paying, not just paying a little bit, you are paying for right now. It is valuable to have a placeholder at the 5th spot. And I even think it makes more sense at center. Everyone talks about tackle, right? That the tackle position, you are so much more on the island. The guard spot, even you're not nearly as much as tackle, but the center spot, you're really not getting one-on-ones a lot ever. I think if there's one position to compromise that, it would be center. If they're an intelligent person and can kind of do things in that facets on the offensive line, I think it's more important to have real big run graders at your guards, like Luke Wattenberg, and that's in reference to him not being the greatest run blocker. Another point I'd make is, hey, yes, I totally agree with you. He did overshoot a lot of his downfield blocks last year. That it was a problem of him. The other thing I'd add to that, though, is I don't think it's a capabilities issue. I think Luke Wattenberg has plenty of athleticism, plenty of all of that to succeed in a zone blocking scheme where you see athleticism be more important than a true gap power scheme type offensive lineman. And I think Luke Wattenberg does fit more of a zone block scheme standpoint as far as archetype of player. So and then when you pair that with an offensive line coach like Zach Streif, where you see these backup offensive linemen looking better than most of the league's backup offensive linemen, I think there's plenty of reason to think Luke Wattenberg might jump this year in his play. And if you can get a jump, even a little bit of a jump, the Broncos offensive line was really good last year with a bad Luke Wattenberg. I think if you can even get a little bit of a jump from Luke Wattenberg this year, Broncos offensive line should be damn good. So I don't have a problem with that at all when I put everything into the pot. I'm talking about his contract. I'm talking about, hey, we're moving to more of a zone block scheme type thing. I'm thinking about, hey, this is his second year starting with a damn good offensive line coach and Zach Strief. I think there's plenty of reasons to be optimistic about him, honestly.
Yeah, I think like
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Pat.
for all the negatives that I had on him last year, that second half of the season it showed some bright spots. It's just like cleaning up the little things, the attention to detail. After 1 week of pre, am I going to walk on all of my gripes? No, I'm not. It's still a long process, but I think if like to your point, Joey, even if he's like, even if he's 20% better than he was last year, that's a massive improvement for this offense overall. Now, the caveat is the guy next to him is fucking stinking it up, and that's a problem. And Powers, yeah, no, I'm talking about Quinn fucking no. Like Powers is like, and if you listen to one of our other episodes where I talked about this shift, like the only guy that I'm really concerned about with this change is Ben Powers, because he's not that typical wide zone guy. Like he's very much a gap scheme type of guy. Like I want to see Ben Powers pulling. I don't want to see him, trying to get lateral. It's just not there. So match that with like the struggles that Powers had in pass pro last year. And it doesn't spell a good recipe for Luke Wattenberg specifically. We can kind of talk about how like guards can level up the play of centers, and I think Miners has done that to an extent. He did that certainly last year with Wattenberg, given his struggles. But like Powers is not one of those guys right now, and that's not to say he can't be. He's definitely shown that he could play in this league, but like I don't know what's going on, if it's like just ultimate regression or he's just not getting it, but something's got to change there. And I think if Wattenberg is going to make a jump, like the guy next to him is going to have to keep that same level of play. And you were talking about paying 4 guys across your offensive line right now. Well, what if Powers becomes one of the guys that they're not paying on that offensive line? Now you got to find a different replacement. And I think they might have their replacement already on the team.
Why are we in your crotch right now? Lift us up.
Sorry.
Thank you.
There was a police officer. Can't do this.
Anything for the pod.
So real quick, David chimes in. He says, "Powers is for power. Time to get Ben zones." And I'm going to pose this question to both of you. Joey, you're up first. Maybe Forsyth is a better guard than center. I don't know. And then obviously Gargiulo getting a ton of love in the chat. I mean, Gargiulo graded out really well, again, for the small sample size. But I don't know how much faith you can put into guys like him and Palcho. Like, you need to see more. Granted, Palcho was great in the spot duty that they had him. I think he was at right tackle for McGlinchey. And again, like that's a difficult transition to make. So, Joey, the question, would Forsyth be maybe a better guard than center?
Pat, is this who you were thinking about at guard? No. See, I agree. I don't think of Forsyth as a guard. I don't think he's powerful enough for guard. I think that you need more power. You need more core strength at the guard position than you do at the center position.
Oh yeah.
You just need a lot more of it, and I don't think Forsyth possesses that. I think he is a center through and through. I think that's where you get the most out of him. I don't view Forsyth as a guy I'd like to move up and down my line. I think Pert is a better example of a guy that maybe could play guard from what I've seen, just the amount of power he possesses at tackle. I don't
him at guard last week at camp, Joey. I don't know if you saw that, but I think Powers was actually out. I don't know if it was just a day off or if he was dealing with something, but they had Pert, and it was funny because you see the huddle and you see Pert there, and you're like, why is that guard so fucking big? So I think Pert goes like 6'7". So it's funny to see a guard that big, but for what it's worth, he was getting work as a guard with the ones.
It's funny you say that. I mean, if you followed Sean Payton in his career, who remembers Andres Pete? They moved him from tackle to guard. This was the biggest, tallest guard. Usually tall at guard isn't good either. You don't want to be too tall because these defensive
You need
tackles
leverage.
under you easy. You win that leverage battle every time, or lose that leverage battle every time. But Andres Pete had a long career, multiple Pro Bowls at guard.
Still playing.
That size. So, but here's my thing. I think Hurt could maybe do that. I would want to see more of it. I thought his preseason last year, I was looking at Pert like, man, did the Broncos just find a big diamond in the rough? Then the regular season came and he started being that extended tight end piece. And I wanted him to do a little more than what I saw, honestly. I was looking at him like, man, you were kicking ass all preseason. Where is that at this tight end thing? Like, you should be dominating. I was watching you destroy dudes the whole preseason. And it just wasn't there in the regular. So hopefully that can come around this year. If we get the preseason version of Pert in the regular season, we're talking about, like, I think a really good run blocking, at least player. I don't know what position you want to play him, but I think you're at least getting that.
Yeah, I think him being in that Quinn Bailey role as the bonus tackle, it didn't really pan out that well last year. So would like to see him improve there. But I think, like, if Gargiulo keeps developing the way the way they want him to, and you keep Streif on him, I think you start having a discussion internally about okay, Powers really isn't getting it. We like Forsyth better as a center, which I think that's where he stays. Clay Webb was getting snaps at guard, I think, too.
Jizzler.
The Jizzler. Yeah, trademark. But I think Gargiulo is the guy that you kind of look at and you say, okay, he can play on the right side, he can play on the left side. Has he showcased enough strength? Is he a good enough blocker at the second level? He was showing a little nasty. I was watching some of his snaps. I really liked what I saw. I think there's something there. But again, he just needs reps. He was a 4-year guy in college. Played center too. Like, he's just a versatile offensive lineman. But he's one of those guys that you definitely want to get an extended look at over these next 2 weeks, because if Ben Powers puts the same type of performance out there, it's not going to be good. Like, this is a guy that is one of your highest paid offensive linemen, has been a starter in this league for a long time, and he's just not getting it done for whatever reason. So you want this run game to be explosive. You want to protect your second-year quarterback. You got to put the best 5 guys out there, and I'm not exactly sold that Powers is one of the best 5 guys on that offensive line. But, I'll give credit where credit is due. I think Wattenberg is doing the right things as far as his offseason goes. I said that I wanted to see him get stronger. I think maybe he's doing a little bit of that. But again, I'm going to go over the run plays tonight. I'm going to look at what he's doing. And then, Watten Watch will still be on until the next game.
Yeah. Let's use this as a transition, guys. Castro asked earlier, let's get it. Who is the best running back right now in Broncos?
It's estimate 100%.
Estimate is the second best fullback on this team.
Argue with the wall.
And we can no. We can talk about this again. No,
you want to talk about
you put the quarter in, so now the whole song is gonna play, Pat. Okay, now I'm bringing the agenda back. I'm bringing back the Audric Estime switch to fullback agenda. Why? Because he doesn't have the burst in the vision to be a starting running back in this league. But you know what he does have? And
the power to be the next guard.
Big boy. Go ahead and put on 25, 30, 35 pounds. Michael Burton, see you later next year. Estimate you could chill on the practice squad this year, fatten your ass up even more so, learn how to block, learn power, and that is how you're making this team. You have shown me nothing. Audric Estime, you are destined to be a fullback, and if not, you're not making the 53. You did this, Pat. This is your fault. Get me all riled up just like David and his little buddies about A.T. Perry.
I think you're talking fullback. I'm thinking guard for Estime. I mean, he's playing.
Moving to tackle. Moving to swing tackle.
Yeah.
David brings up a good point. You need vision to be a fullback. That's an excellent point, David.
Michael Burton is the best one on the team. Don't get it twisted.
No, of course he is.
twisted.
And Atomic brings up a good point. Like Zach says, is Estime even powerful with his runs, or is he just muscular? So we assume that. Honestly, I think it is a little bit of a combo. Like the way that he runs is powerful, but he looks powerful because he's slow. And the problem is, like,
put Zach out there in an Oklahoma drill with Estime and then report back.
Honestly,
Zach's not making millions of dollars to do that. And Nacho almost took Zach out, Pat, okay? He goes one-on-one with Audric Estime. We might as well start planning Zach's funeral.
Just the Fresh Prince Jazzy Jeff out the door.
To that point about the power, though, honestly, I thought his number one trait out of Notre Dame was his vision. And I think it's just really hard to see it because he's just not fast enough in the NFL. He's not quick enough. He's not hitting the hole good, like at the point where you need it to. These NFL players, way too fast. They're getting there faster than Estime is even able to show off his vision. I thought that was his number one thing. And then the power came secondary, but his vision was number one. So you're just not able to see it.
It's also just the fact that he's not a zone running back. Like, he's just not.
Yeah.
Get him going downhill. We saw it at times last season. The best Audric Estime runs were when they were running him downhill north and south. And now you're you're going to more east and west, and that's fine when you have a J.K. Dobbins or an R.J. Harvey or Tyler Bidet. But it's not Audric Estime. It's just not. Yeah. If they're running more duo with Audric, then yeah, sure, it would look fine. But again,
everything is duo. Every inside run, like when I go through Twitter, Pat, and I see all of these people breaking down film,
it's still duo.
Listen to me. Every time that I see anybody break down film on Broncos Twitter and there's an inside run, it's duo. So I meant to be understood that every time we see an inside run, it's duo. Except the times that it actually is duo, we don't call it duo. Those are the rules.
Zone. We call it inside zone.
So here's my question. Let me take this a step further. Question, like two-part question. How many running backs does this team keep, and who are they? Because I think, like, we look at this room and we assume, probably keep 4 backs. Like, maybe they keep 5 running backs, but why? They kept 3 running backs last year. I could see them keeping 3 running backs again this year. Like, we thought that they were going to keep 6, maybe 7 wide receivers last year. They kept 5. We assume that they'll keep probably 6 this year. But I think if you're keeping 6 wide receivers, you're not going to keep more than 3 running backs. So, Pat, how many running backs are going to be on the 53? We'll say by week 1. Because remember, like, Watson was added to the roster, but he was a practice squad guy, but they did it so that he wouldn't be claimed. Burton didn't technically make the team, but he was on the team. So let's just say the 53 going into week 1. How many running backs are there, and who are they?
Okay. So I'll lead it off with this. I think the same thing happens. I think Michael Burton gets let go, and then they bring him back, procedural move. So we're not going to count Michael Burton there. I think they keep 4.
Not counting a fullback? I thought you loved fullbacks. And now they don't even count as people? That's a shame coming from you, Patrick.
Are you finished?
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm going to take my drink. I'm done.
I think they keep 4, and the only reason that I'm thinking this is because of something that Sean said, where he was talking about Bidet and Watson, and he said he let it slip like all these guys are competing for a spot or 2. Always listen to what this man says.
Yeah.
So
especially if he's talking to Kay Adams.
Facts.
Anyways, I think you got to put Dobbins in there, right? So Dobbins, Harvey, Tyler Bidet probably makes this team. And then, dude, it's going to be between McLaughlin and Watson, honestly. I think Estime is a guy they cut. I think they cut him and they try to bring him back on the practice squad. Just because, like, you know, for all the good things that he will probably do during this preseason, I just don't see him being that integral of a piece to the offensive scheme, especially if like you're wanting to go wide zone. You're wanting to get these stretch plays. He's just not the type of back for that. And like Dobbins can run in a gap scheme. We've seen him do it twice before. So like I don't know. Like it's definitely an uphill battle for him. Got to show that you can play in the passing game. Got to show that you can be a good third down back. And I think the other guys are just doing more than he is right now. So at the end of the day, I think they keep 4, especially if you're keeping injury insurance for J.K. Dobbins. I think you got to keep 4. And I think Watson, Bidet are probably fighting for a spot. And if Sean Payton really, really loves Jaleel McLaughlin that much, then hey, more power to him. You know, me personally, I like a little blend in my run game. I'm definitely more of a gap guy. But you know, Patrick Sean Payton is the head man, and that's the coach Pat that I'm going to listen to. So yeah, that's my answer. 4.
And it should be noted real quick before we get to you, Joe. It should be noted, like we say, preseason doesn't matter, don't overreact, and that's all true. But something that you can kind of take to heart is the depth chart of like when they're rolling these guys out. Harvey and Dobbins were the first 2 running backs out there, as expected. We didn't see Estime until after McLaughlin, until after Bidet, and until after Blake Watson. So if Estime is technically RB5, like based on preseason, that already doesn't bode well for him. And it's another situation where, like, you'd think that you would want to showcase him. And maybe we see a lot of Audric Estime these next 2 preseason games where it's like, all right, man, show me. This is your chance to show me that you can do all these things that Coach Pat and Coach Joey don't think that you can do. But off the bat, the fact that he was the last running back to come into the game,
Yeah,
doesn't bode well for him.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for the gang. And you know, Buddy's gonna be, if Buddy can't figure it out, he's gonna take those big ass muscles and he's gonna be signing people up for memberships at 24-hour fitness. Like that's just the reality of it, you know. But like you gotta come in and you gotta outwork the guy across from you. Like this is one of the best running backs in college football in yards after contact. And it just like, you know, it was something that was like the potential is there. I still think he has potential. Like I'm not the type of guy that's like, oh, this guy isn't averaging 6 fucking yards a carry. He's a bum. Get him on my team. Like no, like I think I try to see the most potential in everybody, even a guy like Luke Wattenberg. Like I try to see it in everybody, and I think Estime could still do some good. Maybe it's just not here. Maybe it's just this just isn't the right system for him. You know, I said it before. I think the Charger system would be really great for him. Pittsburgh's probably going to run some good gap stuff with their 7 tight ends that they have. Like I think it'll be fine. But maybe the answer is he's just not meant to be a Denver Bronco, which would be really unfortunate because I like the kid. I think he's a tough football player, but you know, we gotta get the best guys that fit the system and are cohesive. If all 11 guys are not cohesive and can't run the offense efficiently, then God damn it, we're not going to have a good offense. And that's just plain and simple. But I got to run, guys. I really appreciate you both. I love you both tremendously. Joey, you're going to get a subpoena because you committed identity theft, and that's not a joke. Okay. I love y'all. Go Broncos. Also, Jeremy Crawshaw is going to be just fine, guys. Jeremy Crawshaw is going to be just fine. You all are overreacting and you don't know special teams. If you have questions, come ask me. I can tell you about it. All right. Love you all.
Pat, thanks for hanging out. Joey?
Yeah.
Same question. How many
Okay.
running backs are the Broncos keeping, and who are they?
Honestly, Mario, I got 3, and I got 1 making practice squad. If you can try to keep them, this is my whole thing on the running backs here. Is I think R.J. Harvey, J.K. Dobbins, and I think it's Tyler Beatty, and then I think you try to sneak Blake Watson on practice squad. I think Jaleel and Audric Estime are cut from this group. I don't think they got a shot here. It's hard for me. I think Jaleel McLaughlin. I mean, Pat just laid out the whole Audric Estime deal there, so I won't repeat any of it. I totally agree with him on all of it. Yeah, go ahead.
Time out real quick before I let you continue. I got to make a change here because we got a hot take happening right now, Joey. Okay, and maybe it's not even that hot. But Joey Richards saying that not only will Estime be cut, but Jaleel McLaughlin, also known as the Kroger brand Philip Lindsay, is also getting cut from this team. And that even might be a little bit of an indictment on Philip Lindsay, who, was a 1,000-yard rusher. And, we haven't had a running back as good as Philip Lindsay since Philip Lindsay. But yeah, go on, Joey.
I just don't think he adds anything. Like, what's this scenario? Like, I always look at football in this way, or at least like these skilled position groups. What is the down and distance? What's the scenario? What's the play call where I prefer Jaleel McLaughlin to RJ Harvey? I can't think of it. I think RJ Harvey just took that spot and he's gone with it.
You're absolutely right.
I don't think Jaleel McLaughlin, what's his spot? And then if I'm thinking about keeping 4 and Jaleel is my 4th, what is he doing on special teams? Or is he just going to take a spot up and sit on the bench the whole time? Like, I don't think that brings me any value. I might as well just go grab myself a linebacker or whatever who, a younger guy who has potential, whatever. And then he also brings a lot of special teams value. I think that is the way. I don't think Jaleel McLaughlin's doing anything to this team. Not to say he's a bad running back. I think in plenty of running back rooms, he could make sense. Just with the Broncos, it's RJ Harvey took his spot and ran with it. Once they drafted him, that was like the sentence for Jaleel McLaughlin in my eyes.
Yeah, I completely agree. And honestly, that was the first thing that I thought when they drafted RJ Harvey. So I'm sure the majority of Broncos country was surprised that the Broncos took RJ Harvey where they did, because we get so caught up in our own draft process and we listen to what we're told about, the pre-draft selection and everything like that. And we were being told by a consensus that RJ Harvey wasn't necessarily a second round pick. Well, there's only one team that gets to dictate what round guys are meant to go in. It's a team that drafts him and where they end up taking him. So RJ Harvey clearly is a second round talent, at least to Sean Payton and George Payton and the Denver Broncos, because that's where they took him. But that was my exact thought, Joey's like, when they took RJ Harvey, I'm like, there's no room for Jaleel McLaughlin. You're talking about, like, in his essence, like to his core, Jaleel McLaughlin is a bursty, kind of shifty running back, decent. He's a body. He's a guy. RJ Harvey, immediately off the street or like right out of college, is a better version of Jaleel McLaughlin. He's a better receiver. They're probably about the same in pass protection. It seems like he has better vision. It seems like the game isn't too fast for him. And again, I don't think that this is an indictment on Jaleel McLaughlin. But what is an indictment is if you go back last year, Joey, and you look at the longest runs by Broncos running backs last year, it was Tyler Bidet, who had a fraction of the carries that Jaleel McLaughlin had. That, to me, is the biggest indictment that you could make about McLaughlin, because if you have a guy that doesn't run great between the tackles, the best thing that he does is catch that little swing pass on the perimeter inside the 10, inside the 5-yard line, makes the guy miss.
Sean loves that pitch too, man.
He loves it.
That pitch. It never works.
And I think if that's the only thing, that might be the only thing, Joey, that keeps him on the team. It'll depend if RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins can do that. Because if they can't, then I don't see anything that Jaleel McLaughlin does better than RJ Harvey. And if you're keeping him on for this one specific swing pass play, then it's a little bit of an overstatement, and I don't think that he has a roster spot. So I'm with you 100%. And then, of course, you add in a J.K. Dobbins who adds like the different dynamic, but is still similar and still matches really closely with what you want to do. Like, I know people want to look back, Joey, at the Sean Payton teams of old. And it's like, yeah, he usually has like a scat back, which would be RJ Harvey, and a power back, which would technically be J.K. Dobbins, even though I don't think RJ is that scatty. And I don't think JK is that powerful, like a Mark Ingram type, right?
Yeah.
So he's branching off a little bit and he's staying a little bit to that trend, but he's changing it up a little bit. And I think he has two guys that are dynamic and he has two guys who can take the ball the distance. And we saw it, man, the biggest problem with the running back room, they couldn't break the big one. They could never get out into space. They didn't break tackles at a high enough rate. I think all of them averaged under 4 yards a carry, except for Bidet, again, in a really limited sample size. So I get what you're saying. And here's the other thing, like that as long as we're talking about indictments on certain running backs, and I'm going to keep pounding this drum until it's no longer relevant. In a playoff game in Buffalo, who has a big, strong, nasty defensive front, Sean Payton decided to start Tyler Bidet because he wanted a little bit more juice over Audric Estime. That tells me, A, that you didn't think that having a power back in Audric Estime was valuable in a playoff game in Buffalo against that defensive front, and B, that McLaughlin did not give you the prerequisite juice that you were looking for, and so you felt the need to activate a guy that hadn't gotten a carry in 2.5 months. If that's not a ringing endorsement for Bidet over McLaughlin and Estime right in itself, then I don't know what is.
Right. No, I mean, I totally agree with you in that. And Pat said earlier in the show, like, hey, you guys need to pay attention to what Sean Payton says. Sean Payton, I don't think he's one in these. I think Pat nailed it. I think you do have to kind of listen to him and what he says. And when he said Bidet is firmly in this conversation for making the team, and that kind of took people at shock, the guy was not like BSing you at all. You saw it this preseason game, getting snaps before Estime, getting snaps before Blake Watson. He's firmly on the edge of making this roster, and I would say even as a favorite to make this roster. I would put odds on him to make it at this point. And then Blake Watson over these other two guys too. He's probably your best pass catcher out of everybody in this backfield, I would think. This is a former college wide receiver made into running back. He's just really good at catching the football out of the backfield, transitioning into a runner from that. That's different.
Is he the best receiving back on the roster, Joey?
I think so. Yeah, I think he probably is. I think if you wanted that type of running back, Blake Watson is your best bet at that. RJ Harvey at UCF didn't catch much other than swings. I think at Senior Bowl, you were able to see him extend from there. And hey, maybe this was just a coaching thing and they just didn't ask him to do it, but he has the capability to. But Blake Watson has shown the most in that for sure. Now, here's a hot take, Mario. I think that.
Let's hear it.
Well, I don't even. It's kind of hot. It's lukewarm. I think I could see the Broncos still. I mean, maybe even cut 3 of these guys and then bring a new one in. I could see that too. Because here's my thought process. Who's the most injury-prone one on here? It's J.K. Dobbins. It's not even close. I think, like, you could definitely see him getting hurt at some point this year. Obviously, don't. I mean,
if history tells us anything, Joey, I think he's had one fully healthy season in his entire career.
Yeah, and major injuries too, like not just little knick-knack injuries. Right. No, major injuries.
Like season enders, borderline career enders, honestly, early in his career.
Yeah, for real. Like, he's one of those guys. He had the Javonte Williams multi-ligament knee injury deal going on for a little bit. That was crazy. It's crazy he's still playing.
The fact that he came back and had the year that he did last year with the Chargers, honest to God, surprised the hell out of me.
Yeah, it's facts. It's facts. But here, my overarching point is I think you could see RJ Harvey, if the preseason showed us anything so far. I think you could see RJ Harvey getting the most rushing attempts, but I still think J.K. Dobbins might be the most irreplaceable part of this running back group right now, and it's scary having him be the most irreplaceable. And I say that because of his blocking. I don't trust RJ Harvey to block. I don't trust Blake Watson to block. I don't trust Tyler Beatty to block. I trust any of these guys block except for J.K. Dobbins. And it's scary having him be the only one that can do it, yet he is by far the most injury-prone player. I think that's so freaky. Like, I would love to have somebody on practice squad that maybe, hey, J.K. Dobbins,
But you feel comfortable with.
at least I could throw him in for pass pro so my quarterback's not getting his head knocked off. That'd be great.
Joey, why else was Javonte running back 1 last year? Honest to God, like, why was he out there more than any other running back? Even though, we already talked about Jaleel, but Jaleel had infinitely more juice than Javonte did last year. Bidet had infinitely more juice than Javonte did last year. Yet Javonte led all running backs in snaps by a pretty wide margin. Not because he was a really good running back, not because he was a great receiver out of the backfield. I mean, he was okay to below average at everything last year, except pass protection.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's exactly it. That's why he was the number 1 running back. Jaleel McLaughlin was a better runner of the football than Javonte Williams was last year. I think you could have gone up and down the Broncos. Any running back that the Broncos had on their roster last year was probably a better runner than Javonte was. Javonte just was able to play 3 downs. So that made him not a tell. So, hey, we're playing Javonte Williams even in these running situations. And then also I could play him on 3rd downs. I don't have to worry about my rookie quarterback getting hurt or taking a sack, which is a complete drive killer. I would rather only get 3 yards on a run than take a sack in this passing situation because that is actually the drive killer. So,
and then maybe you do something like this. Like maybe he mixes it up. You have 3 wide receivers. You go 2 wide receivers and an Evan Ingram. And then you have, let's say it's RJ Harvey or let's say it's Tyler Bidet, and then you have Michael Burton back there, and you run a split backfield or you even run like offset I or I formation. So at least you're not telegraphing it. You can leak RJ Harvey out to catch passes. You can leak JK out, or I'm sorry, not JK, but like Bidet out to catch passes. If it's Blake Watson, they become a receiver. So then you have 4 targets, and then essentially Michael Burton is hanging back in to block. Like if you want to go that route where you're not telegraphing it, maybe they will have a couple of alignments like that, but still that's a little bit of a stretch. And you're absolutely right. You have to be able to pass protect. And so the thing that we should look for, because I'm sure RJ Harvey's going to get work because he's a rookie in these last 2 games. If you're watching the show and you're going to watch those games, which I'm sure you are, what I want you to pay attention to is RJ Harvey's willingness to block. Because it's not just, is he good at it? It's, is he willing to do it? Maybe he gets pancaked, Joey. Like maybe he gets flattened by the edge. Maybe he gets flattened by a blitzing cornerback. But can you get in the way? Just like give Bo an extra half second to process. Just get in his way. You have to know, not just be willing, but you have to know where to go as well. And I like the thing that I keep getting back to that like gives me hope that RJ Harvey is at least a serviceable back is Sean Payton is not taking him in the 2nd round if he's a lost cause in pass pro.
Yeah. I think they think he can become more. I think at UCF he wasn't very good, but I think he has the body to be able to be a good blocker. He's a fire hydrant. Like that's the best way I describe his build. He is a fire hydrant. He's lower on the ground. He's stocky though, right? And I don't think the size, the height determines whether you're a good blocking running back. One of the best blocking running backs in the league is Kyron Williams for the Rams. This guy is all of 5'9", 203 pounds.
It's not a size thing.
No, he's capable.
Joey, I'm sure you've seen film of Maurice Jones-Drew, who was 5'7", probably went like 205, 210. But man, like talk about low to the ground, but not a large. Like he looked bigger than he was just because he was so stocky. But God, every defensive lineman or edge rusher that was coming after him had at least 30, 40, 50 pounds on it.
That's a fact. It's a fact, yeah. All of them did. It's really just holding your ground for a little bit. I don't think anyone expects the running back to pancake the defensive end on a regular basis.
Right.
No, that's not just like what we want. It's not what we're asking.
Away.
Yeah.
And I think that's why The people that know this game intimately, because there were a lot of fans, Joey, that wanted Travion Henderson because he's an Ohio State running back. He had the big plays in the college football playoffs and the finals and all of that. And he was a fun, explosive guy. The reason that I love Travion Henderson more than any other running back in this class, aside from Genty, is because of his ability to pass block. He is an absolute dog.
Yep.
On top of everything that he does. And it should be stated, too, it's not like he's that much bigger than RJ Harvey. So, again, like, that's what I'm holding out hope for. It's like, it's not a size issue. It's just you have to know where to go. You have to stay low to the ground, which shouldn't be difficult for him. And you have to hit your points, too. So it's like if you're talking about it from a physiological standpoint, you have to see, like, where their momentum is taking them and the points that you're trying to hit. And it's like, are you chipping him? Are you getting shoulder on shoulder? Are you putting your helmet in his gut? Are you going after his knees? And so as long as he can shore that up, man, I feel a lot better about it.
Yeah.
And as long as we're talking about, because I know you said maybe it's not even a hot take that they add somebody later in the season, like maybe a running back ends up here. I just want to put this up here because I've been saying this since last year. I love Tyler Algier. I loved him coming out, rushed for 1,000 yards with Atlanta when they were not a very good football team. He's been completely overshadowed by Bijan Robinson, understandably. But man, it's like you everything that J.K. Dobbins is right now, and I like Dobbins a lot. Algier's a better version. So if that is remotely a possibility, Atomic, then absolutely, I would love to see that. Now, I want to use this time to transition a little bit, Joey, because we're talking about bubble guys. We're talking about the running backs we think aren't going to make it. I saw your tweet earlier about Devon Vele and how you can kind of point out the skill set of every single wide receiver on this team and what they bring. Whether it's Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, and even Trent Sherfield. And that odd man out a little bit, and you said this in your tweet, Joey, is Devon Vele. So would Devon Vele be getting maybe a red slip in his locker? Or maybe he's a trade candidate. Where are you at with Devon Vele?
I have a hard time seeing him being cut or off the team. I do see plenty of possibilities where you just don't see him on the field much this year, though. I do see that from the hype where it came, like at the end of last year to now, we've heard so much about like, hey, Devon Vele might be the breakout star of this Broncos offense. I think just as likely on the other side is Troy Franklin took a step. So I'm not taking Marvin Mims. I'm not taking
I think he took 2 or 3 steps, man.
Yeah.
It's early, but he's doing everything that you wanted to see out of him. He's been doing so far.
Yeah. Yep. And then do I want the tough over the middle catch guy? I think Pat Bryant is amazing. I also think he can do other stuff outside of that and expand his game. Do I want a really good blocker? Trent Sherfield is a really good blocker, along with, I think we all saw his receiving skills last week. He looked good at receiver.
That was easily the most underrated free agent acquisition. And I loved it when it happened because I've low-key been a Trent Sherfield fan. Because you want to talk about a guy that like doesn't get a lot of opportunities, but always seems to make the most out of his opportunities. And I know you're a little bit familiar with this show. Pat was the biggest Lil Jordan Humphrey fan. There's a lot of people in the chat that love him too. And while I wasn't as sad to see him go, what kind of helped that transition as well is like Trent Sherfield to me is almost a better version of Lil Jordan Humphrey. Now, obviously not as big. He's not going to be that physically imposing receiving threat. But Sherfield will do the dirty work. And it honestly wouldn't surprise me the way that Sean Payton kind of works the starting lineup. And this is why like calling someone wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 is so arbitrary. You were at games last year. There were games where Lil Jordan Humphrey was announced as a starter on the offense. It would not surprise me if Sherfield ends up making this team, and he absolutely should, if he is in that similar role and he's announced as a starter for a handful of games. In fact, I even talked to Pastor Tan last night, and I tried to like set him up and I said, who's wide receiver 2 on this team? Knowing that that's not how it works, but just to get his honest opinion.
Yeah.
And he kind of said the same thing. He's like, I guess technically it's Marvin Mims, but it depends on what we're running that week. Like
Exactly.
some weeks it's going to be Franklin, sometimes it's going to be Bryant, sometimes it's going to be Mims. And that's what I want to hear in all of this. And that to me says that Sherfield is going to have a bigger role on this offense than I think a lot of us are anticipating.
Yeah, I think Pat Stan answered that correct, and I mean, obviously he did, right? But
I'm really glad that you think that Pastor Tan answered the football question correctly about personnel.
I'm gonna start like debating him on the Broncos' best corner or something. I don't know. I think so. This offense to me, there's a wide receiver 1, and then there's like 3 or 4 wide receivers 2s, and it just depends on what the play call is. What are we running?
Exactly.
Game plan week to week. What's happening? And what my tweet was pretty much saying is like I can point out skill sets that gets everybody else on the field. Marvin Mims, the speed, the after catch creation. Troy Franklin again, the stretch the defense. Sherfield, the blocking, along with the underneath stuff. Pat Bryant being tough and physical in the underneath game and everything like that. I think Valet lacks in some of these other areas. So it's just like I don't think he's better at any one thing than these other guys. So he just has to be the best all-around pass catcher to really get an uptick. So that's hard, though.
Do you think that's reasonable?
Really
Is
hard.
that a reasonable expectation for him?
I would say I think all of these guys have just a good enough shot. I think Pat Bryant has a shot to become like the best pass catcher out of that second tier. I think Marvin Mims has a shot. I think Troy Franklin has a shot. But whether they actually become that or not, they're still going to see the field because of the skills that they have. I don't see that with Valet. Valet has to do that to become a guy that's on the field a lot, right? Because he's not the blocker some of these guys are. He's not the speed guy some of these other people are. He's not as tough in the middle of the field as Pat Bryant is. Like, he's not that. So he just needs to be the best all around, and that's difficult.
Yeah, well, and I want people to understand too, as long as we're talking about wide receivers, I've seen a lot of stuff about, let's move Mims into the slot. Like Pat Bryant can play outside, Franklin be outside. Obviously, Court's going to be outside as the X. I don't want Mims to exclusively be in the slot, just like how I don't want him to exclusively be a gadget guy. You know, I don't want him to be a Malachi Corley type or like what people perceive to be Luther Burden or even like a Deebo Samuel type. Like, I want Marvin Mims to be able to play on the outside. He made some of his best plays this season on the outside. And I think like the attention grabbing plays that he made, he was leaking out of the backfield. There were some really good play designs, the long the catch that he had against the Chargers in LA, the long touchdown catch he had against the Chiefs in that last week 18 game. It's like, yeah, those plays will be there. But I don't think that Broncos country is giving Marvin Mims the respect he deserves as like an actual pure wide receiver. And I want to see more of Mims on the outside. So don't relegate him as just like this gadget guy. We saw that every time that they were manufacturing touches for Marvin Mims and getting him the ball, like actively trying to get it to him, good things happen. So if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it does feel like there's a sense this offseason, at least, that Marvin Mims kind of just is who he is, and we're going to get the exact same Marvin Mims the next year.
Well, there were a lot of people in the LTB chat that were convinced that Marvin Mims was cooked, Joey.
Yeah, it just feels like everyone kind of thinks of him as the gadget guy, and he just can't get better. And I get really frustrated with this part when people do this, where it's just like, tell me something, but don't give me any of the descriptions of why. Like, if someone's like, he's a really bad route runner, I'm like, okay, I get that. And I can kind of look at the player and be like, yeah, he just doesn't have the movement skills to become a great route runner. He's going to have to be physical catch guy. what is Marvin Mims' physical deficiency or deficiency to the point where he can't grow into a better wide receiver? That's always my thing. What is it? What's making him where he can't? Like, I think there's plenty of possibilities where Marvin Mims does become less of a gadget type player, and becomes an outside and gadget guy. Like, I don't want to take away from some of the stuff we saw, but I think what we call gadgety can become just part of the offense if Marvin Mims is able to expand his game a little more.
Like he's the de facto guy that you're using in those situations. But something that I said, like after that Bengals game, the catch that he made to tie the game, to send it into overtime, even though they should have gone for 2, Bo wanted to do it, but that's another discussion for another day. Gadget guys don't make that catch. Gadget guys don't body 2 defenders at once, high point the ball, secure it, get both feet in bounds or a knee or whatever he got, and make that catch. That is a boundary receiver, big body catch. And at 5'11", 195 or 190 or whatever he is, he plays bigger than his frame. So going back to what you were just saying, it's like, what is physically limiting him from getting better? We've seen that. It's like, if you give him opportunities and you give him a chance to be something that people think that he's not, that he proves them wrong and says, nah, fuck you. I am very much this thing that you think that I'm not.
Right. And man, there's just value to having big play capabilities on your team. At the beginning of the season, we didn't have any of that. Do you remember that when it was Josh Reynolds, Cortland Sutton, and I think Lil Jordan Humphrey were like the guys eating up the majority of the snaps at wide receiver? There was just no big play opportunity there. Marvin, and then Javonte Williams at running back. It was like, okay, so we're the slowest team in the league.
We were the anti-Miami Dolphins, Joey. It's like they only care about, like, you have to be 4.4 and below. And it was like, you can't run slower than a 4 or faster than a 4.5 if you want to be a Broncos skill position player.
Exactly. No, really. The fastest guy literally on the field was probably Bo Nix between all of those people.
Without a doubt, he was the fastest guy on the field.
Which is crazy. But that's actually nuts to think about. And then you saw when Sean Payton was like, okay, we need speed out there. It was very clear that Sean Payton looked at it and was like, we need speed. Marvin Mims came in, and not only did Marvin Mims come in, he was like, we need speed so bad. I'm just going to create plays where I'm getting the ball to the guy with speed.
Just get it for him in space.
Like, we just need it out there really bad. So, and it ended up making the offense a lot better. So I think even having less gadgety guys and doing less gadgety things with speed players, Troy Franklin, like, my God, if you make me look like the biggest idiot on earth.
His separation is insane, Joey. The separation is there.
Just make me look stupid, Troy Franklin. God, did I love the
make everybody
stuff.
Yes.
I was probably his biggest hater ever. Like, even after we drafted him into last season, he was the worst at tracking the football I felt like I ever saw. Last year, my God, how many big play opportunities we missed? The ball's landing 5 yards left or right of Troy Franklin because he can't find it in the air. It would drive me nuts. I could not stand it. But this year,
you know what I compared him to with Pat a couple of weeks ago? Did you ever see the movie The Replacements with Keanu Reeves?
Yes.
He's Clipper Franklin. They even have the same last name. See, the ball's like a cold to Clipper Franklin. Clipper Franklin's the only one catching it. Clipper Franklin's the only one coming down with it. And it was like he was the fastest dude on the team. He was in insane separation, could not catch. And then what happened? So, I mean, there was one game like they used Stickum, and then he eventually, because of the montage nature of the movie, he learned how to catch. Hopefully, that's the transition that we see. That Troy Franklin can go from Clipper Franklin in the first half of the Replacements to Clipper Franklin in the last couple of games of the Replacements. Kodiak chimed in earlier.
He probably got that Jameis Winston LASIK surgery.
Maybe that's what he needs. Kodiak said, "Just got out of work. Did I miss the part where we dunked on Crawshaw?" And what's so funny, Kodiak, is before Pat took off, and this is funny, Joey, because I think he did this on very much on purpose. So he's teasing a little bit for his own show, but also kind of wanted to like throw a grenade and run away. Pat made it very clear that he did not think that Crawshaw had a bad game. And to be fair, like in the LTB group chat, and Pat is a special teams coach. So this isn't just like a guy talking out of his ass. Like Pat literally coaches special teams. So he is one of the foremost authority. He is the foremost authority in Let's Talk Broncos about special teams. But he kind of just said like, nope, he did well. He wasn't that bad. All right, I got to go. And he hit it. So now that we have a little bit more time to discuss it, and then we'll wrap up here shortly. And David wants everyone to know Crawshaw was cheeks, though. But I want to get your opinion, Joey. Thoughts on Crawshaw?
Honestly, Mario, I'm the worst person to ask about special teams either. My special teams take, man, it comes off of taking the opposite of whatever Zach says to piss him off. That's my special teams takes.
What did Zach think about what did Zach think about Crawshaw?
He had no strong opinion, but he had no strong opinion, so I haven't done it yet. But usually Zach comes on with like a mean kicker take, and I'm like, you're wrong. And then that's
you are exactly what Zach Seegers needs, because I say it a lot on this show, Joey. I don't do nerd shit. Okay, that's why you're here right now, and Zach's not, because I don't want to hear about advanced analytics where you use 6 letters to abbreviate certain things that I don't actually give an FUCK about. All right. Yeah. I want to talk about actual tangible football and not some random ass numbers that nerds with glasses and pocket protectors are putting together in their mom's basement.
Thank you. Any kicker take is exactly what Mario just described to me. Honest to God, I can't with it. When we cut Brett Maher and everyone was losing their mind, like we didn't just see him catch the Ben Simmons in the playoffs the year before. I don't know what we're doing. And then he carried it over to the preseason. Like, why are we upset?
Compared to Ben Simmons. Sorry, that was fantastic. That was a great
let
pull.
Him go. I did not care at all. And then we got Will Lutz. Cool with it. I don't care.
All right, Joey. Thank you so much for joining me. But before we get out of here, we still have one more order of business to attend to, and that is everybody's most favorite segment in all of Denver Broncos podcast history. I'm talking about what's getting you bricked up. Joey Richards, what is getting you bricked up right now?
Honestly, after this last preseason game, I just kind of shit on him from last year, but it's Troy Franklin right now, man. Oh, it's Troy Franklin. That catch over the middle of the field, I saw him fully extend, catch it. He's not making that last year, just saying that straight up. I don't think he's converting that. And then did you see the rep? Man, he was kind of like an extended tight end, came in and had to block, and Troy Franklin was blocking? What the hell happened to Troy Franklin? I think Sean might have kidnapped Troy Franklin and put somebody else in that uniform because he was unbelievable. I like Troy Franklin. I want him to continue to get better. And honestly, he could make this whole Broncos offense way different than what I was initially thinking going into the season. If he continues on this trend, he looked really good.
I'll tell you, that's a fantastic one, and that's kind of the direction I was going, so I'm just going to kind of think on the fly here, but I'm going to tell you what has me really bricked up. Okay. It's the fact that I don't take preseason too seriously. What had me bricked up a couple months ago was the same thing I'm bricked up about now, Joey, and let me preach it to you. I'm bricked up that they have a tight end that can actually catch passes. I'm bricked up that they brought in a running back with some juice who actually has contact balance and can break tackles. I'm bricked up that they brought in an additional running back who is much better than anybody else they had last season. They didn't have a run game last year. They're going to this year. Rookie Bo Nix was one of the finalists for Rookie of the Year. And if he actually had weapons to throw to, like an Evan Ingram, like a Pat Bryant, like a second-year Troy Franklin, like a second-year Devon Bailey, like a third-year Marvin Mims, he would have been Rookie of the Year. Like, pound stamp, period. Put my name on it. Put my mortgage on it. Put everything on it. That would have absolutely happened. So what has me bricked up isn't the fact that the season is starting soon, and it is. And I'm bricked up about that. But I'm bricked up over the fact that I don't let 2 series of a stupid-ass preseason game ruin my premonition of how damn good this offense is going to be, especially compared to last year. Last year, they didn't have a run game. This year, they will. Last year, didn't have a receiving tight end. This year, they will. Last year, they didn't have an inside linebacker worth a damn. This year, they will. Also, they have Jahdae Barron, who might be the 3rd or 4th best DB in that room. You put him on 27 other NFL teams right now, Joey. He's the best DB in that room. They re-upped Jonathan Cooper. They re-upped Zach Allen. They're about to re-up Nick Benito. He's going to get a bag, but he will get that bag in Denver. Mark my words. Everything that they were good at last year, they will be better at. Everything that they were bad at last year, they are going to be great at. This is a legit, really good fucking team, and I could not be more bricked up. And the reason is because I don't let a stupid-ass preseason game ruin my bricked upness. And that's all I got to say about that.
I love it. I love it. We're back, baby. This football
Joey,
season.
tell the people where they can... Edging right now. Oh, shit. I'm going to go let you finish pimping times 187. Where can the beautiful people in the chat find your work, Joey?
Yeah, just follow me on Twitter. It's LTB_Joey. If you're listening to this podcast, I mean, hey, tune into ours as well. It's all on the same channel. Make sure you're supporting everybody on this channel. We're all one big team. Group chats going crazy every day. We want to bring the best content we possibly can to you guys. I'm even open to suggestions, people. If you guys have good ideas, stuff you want to see, let me know. But
you said less nerd shit, so let Zach know.
Yeah, the Special Teams podcast will not be happening. We will not be doing the Special Teams Saturday or nothing like that. But
Special Team Saturday.
We're not doing the Special Team Saturday show. No. Special Teams.
That will have 6 viewers and 4 of them will be bots.
Yeah. I'll talk about kicking. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, just make sure you guys are tuning in. Full Field Reads coming back this week. So tune into that as well.
Oh yeah, that's on that's 3 days from now. Yeah, that's a great plug. Frankie and Robbie do one of the best shows, like the best film breakdown that you will see. Like, Joey, there are people out there who, like claim they played football, but they didn't really play football because they played with like a novelty football. And then you got guys like Frankie and Robbie who actually understand X's and O's and actually understand the game and know what they're looking at. And they do a really good job breaking that down for you. So yeah. Full Field Read on Friday. And then when will the LTB main show be airing again? You guys on Sunday?
Yeah, we usually come in on Sundays. So come tune in with us. It's fun. Yeah, come kick it with Bree, Zach, and I.
And did you see what Sean Payton said about all of the LTB shows?
Gosh, your own little internet shows are driving me crazy.
Sure they are. I'm sure they are.
All our own little internet shows are just driving him crazy.
Just wait until Special Teams Saturday comes. It's going to be – he might be driven off a wall.
We're taking this shit to the next level. My name is Mario Vitanzi. That is Joey Richards of Let's Talk Broncos. Thank you all so much for joining us. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Hey, Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up.